Rich. Got an update. I was wrong when I did my list analysis. That sounded official. My list analysis, my trending report on AB InBev. So this is an update for any of you that do listen to me and don't realize that I'm completely full of shit. This is an update that AB InBev owns Anheuser-Busch InBev owns SAB Miller. SAB Miller used to, I guess, own Coors Brewing and Miller Lite and all that. But I guess SAB is a African company that owns whatever, and they were acquired by AB InBev. So, somehow, in my rock head, I correlated the SAB Miller to Miller Products, and that Miller owned Coors and blah, 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 blah. No. I was corrected by a fellow on my post. I think his name was William Mills. I was corrected by this fella stating there's a company called Coors Brewing, Molson Coors, that are not owned by Anheuser-Busch. So Coors Light, Coors Products, Miller Lite, Miller Products are not owned by InBev. That's comforting. Because I was really getting concerned because every time I walk down, say, a beer aisle, hey! Bad! Fergus just pissed on my couch. Well, lost my track of mind. Bad. Don't you do that. Alright. So, it's comforting to know that Anheuser-Busch doesn't own every damn beer in the whole world. Because that's what I was starting to feel like. It just felt as though our choices were so limited when it was time to look for a new beer other than Bud Light. So it's nice to know, I used to drink Coors Light and I used to drink Miller Lite back in the day. I don't drink Miller Lite anymore, but I will drink Coors Light if they don't have Bud Light or something like that. Now, I don't drink Bud Light, so it's between Coors Light and Yuengling Light. What I did find out, though, with Yuengling is even in their light beer, they have flavor. They have a little more flavor. There's a flavor profile. There's what a microbrewer type of guy, microbrew guy would say, I can chew my beer a little bit. I don't understand that. I don't want to chew my beer. I want to drink it. I want to quench my thirst, and I want to catch a buzz if that's the plan for the day. So nowhere in there is chewing or eating or tasting too much, really, to be honest with you. I think that's why Americans love light beer so much is we're all big and heavy people, and it takes 12-pack or more to get half of us drunk. So the last thing we want to do is eat dinner in our can of beer. It's the last thing we need, too. So in order to drink a certain amount of drinks, you can't, you just, some people can, but, just what, drinking sour margaritas all day? No, you got to stop. You got to drink something else, or you got to just stop drinking, period, probably. Maybe that should be a consideration to this whole process. It's not drink so much, but it has become a pastime for a lot of people to have some cocktails. I'm one of them. I'll drink on occasion. I appear to be defined by drinking with my back set and all that. So I hope there isn't a misconception that, that I need to go to a clinic or something. I need to go to a clinic, maybe a mental clinic, but not a beer clinic. I could hold a beer clinic, maybe. But yeah. So I'm thinking out loud, and I'm saying to myself, good thing. Miller Lite, and Coors Light are back on to the beer cooler new light beer challenge that I'm going to be doing probably next week. Not this week. Maybe this week. I don't know. I doubt it. It's hard to tell. But I've got the 4 coolers. I've got 2 of the beers that I had excluded from the whole scenario. So now I'll have Yuengling Light, Pabst Blue Ribbon, Coors Light, and Miller Lite in the running. I think that's a good running. Yeah, I dig it. So thank you for the correction, William. I appreciate it, because that's huge. You know, hopefully not too many of the people that listen to me took me serious and were in the same conundrum I was in, trying to find a new light beer and thinking AB InBev owned everything, which they still own too much. Whatever happened to this whole monopoly thing where, you know, what happened to that? You know, like if you kept growing and you bought so much of the percentage of the market share in a certain product that you had to then shovel off some of the other companies you owned in order to stay a certain size and not own the market. Dictate the prices. Dictate the taste. Dictate politics. Yeah. Guys, we just saw a great example of what probably should be considered a monopoly company, thinking they're going to flex their muscles on their biggest consumer quadrant, the Bud Light people, the fratty people. We got to see a real life example of what a monopoly thinks it can do. So maybe they're not quite a monopoly yet, but they're really close. And in their heads, they had become a monopoly. They'd become a giant. And they thought, we're going to impress upon our beliefs and impress upon our views onto our consumers, regardless of how they feel. And if they want to change their beer, they can't really, because we own them all. So now, we're not only getting all their money by selling our crappy beer to them, but we're then taking that money and we're deciding that we want to use that money and use these people as a platform to promote what is, I believe, less than 1% of our population's what do you want to call it? I mean, I believe the process of transgender and the switching over to be potentially a mental illness. I also believe that it's also probably maybe a strong genetic issue that they have that goes beyond mental, beyond the brain, and it goes more into just there's something in them that's driving them, saying, hey, your chromosomes are really close, dude. Your XY chromosomes are really close. And I said, dude, you might not be a dude. You might be, dudette or a chick. We're not sure. You're not sure. So I give them that credit for sure. Because to want to or feel like you need to change your gender from what it was biologically it's a big thing. Much bigger than what it's being made out to be right now. Because, we do have Dylan Mulvaney prancing around like a woman, but he still hasn't done the process. He still hasn't clipped his twig or his berries. He's still holding on to those. He's proud of them. He's actually saluting to the bulge. So, we got this guy. This guy is representing, and I'm going to say guy because screw pronouns right now when it comes to this, because this is a very heavy and influential situation in our country and our world, where we've got some guy that doesn't appear to be or seem to be willing to go that full mile for his cause, his true cause of being a woman. He won't go that full mile, but he wants to prance around and he wants to make a mockery of the trans community and of females, of women. And he's also then coming into the living rooms of men, heterosexual men, or even gay men, that just want to drink their Bud Light and be left alone and not really want to worry about such a small percentage of our population that has this illness or this issue. Because that's the nice thing about majority minority. If you don't let minority rule, majority is, hey, that doesn't affect me. I want to be left alone from all of these strange things or these big odd things. I want to be left alone from those because I'm not afflicted by that. Yeah, it's terrible. It may sound terrible, but you know what? We, when I say we, people, any group, we're not built to house everybody's issues of the world. We're only built to house our issues, and a lot of people can't even house their own issues. So why would we take on housing the issues of the mind, like a very, 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 very small portion minority? Because when the true numbers come out, because right now this is popular, which is crazy, but this is pop culture right now. Binary stuff, bisexual, heterosexual, homosexual. I mean, heterosexual shouldn't be in there, but whatever. I'll throw it in there. I don't care. But the trans movement is pop culture right now. So all those confused kids, whether confused by their sexuality or confused by their, what would you call it, their placement, their rank in their school, with their friends, with not their friends, with people, the playground, whatever, and they're confused by it, and they're lonely, and they're sad, and now they see something they can embrace. Back in the day, it was video games. You know, it was school. They embraced that, and they became what we called nerds, goobers, geeks. But they embraced something that was maybe more positive, that they were able to use the outcome of what they embraced to formulate a better life for themselves down the road. So they committed their time to something maybe a little more positive than cutting their penis off or acting like they're something that they aren't. A furry animal. If you're born a boy, acting like a girl, wearing a dress, stuff like that. I'm not against that, really. I'm not this guy who's sitting in my basement or in my shop pining over if people choose to wear a dress or if they choose to be a woman when they're a man, and blah, 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 blah. I don't care about any of it, to be honest with you. But I certainly don't want it crammed down my throat, just like everybody else. That's the misconception of all this. Because the left and the right, but the left on this topic, they love to take a guy like me or anybody similar to me and turn us into bigots, turn us into racists, turn us into sexist, turn us into misogynist, because we are looking at the numbers and we're looking at, hey, this is who I am, I'm proud of who I am. And I don't even agree or disagree with all that other crap. What I agree or disagree with is that you're trying to jam it down my throat. Let's be clear. I do not care either way what anybody thinks they are. Even if it's a delusion, even if it's mental illness, even if it's hereditary, genetic, whatever. I don't care. But I sure as hell do not want to support that mindset I don't want to help that mindset grow any bigger than it should or needs to be. I believe it needs to be there because that's just a segment of our population, of our society, is going to be mentally ill. It's going to have gender issues. It's going to have sexual issues, whether it be bisexual or homosexual or whatever. There's a certain segment of our population that's going to have that regardless whether we like it or not. So we need to welcome that in the sense of, hi, I'm Rich, and if we are putting our preferences out there, I'm heterosexual male. That's all you need to know if that's what we're talking about. And then you say, hi, I'm Ben. I'm a homosexual male. Great, Ben. Hi, I'm Frank. I'm a bisexual male. Great, Frank. Let me buy you a Coors Light or a Miller Lite. Hi, I'm Steve, transitioning over to Sarah. I believe I'm a transgender. I'm going to have the procedure, and I'm going to follow through with this, and that's what I am going to be. Hi, Steve, Sarah, whatever you prefer. And then that's it. That's all it should be. Not, hi, I'm Dylan Mulvaney, and this is my Bud Light beer, and you need to drink it because you don't have a choice. And I'm on my 389th day of female, of being a woman. Oh, being a little girl. See, old Malcolm here? Malcolm here? What are you, Malcolm? He's like, I'm a dog with a penis. Minus my nuts that you cut off when I was a kid. Yeah, he's still mad at me about that, I think. And then there's Fergus. Come here, Fergus. Come here, Fergus. Come here. Oh. And then there's Fergus. He's definitely an alpha male. He's my baby. Love my puppies. I love them. I got him in here today because it's wet out. And this video is once again going longer than it needs to. I wanted to say these are back on the table, guys. So you're going to see me rank these against Pabst Blue Ribbon and Yuengling for sure. I got 4 beers, 4 coolers. Good stuff. I'm going to get back to work on my lights, get these things out. I've got a whole bunch made, so now I can get really caught up and then commit back to the videos a little bit more. So, here's my Monday video. Sorry, made a mistake. I'm not that sorry, because I'm sure you probably all figured it out and just said, hey, it's just Rich.